Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talkdesk presentation on redefining customer experience with generative and agentic AI platforms. My name is Toussaint Celestin. I'm the principal for AI product and industry marketing at Talkdesk, and I hope that you find this presentation informative and educational. So let's get started. Today, we're going to cover this topic in three basic buckets. We'll start off first by looking at why AI CX, particularly for omni-channel communications in the contact center environment, why AI is so important. Then secondarily, we'll take a look at the two platforms that are most prevalent today, generative AI solutions and the most recent solution, Agentic AI. And then lastly, we'll take a look at how Talkdesk approaches this from an AI platform and a solutions perspective before we close it out. So let's go ahead and get started. So why AI for a better customer experience in relation to contact center interactions? Well, many reports are indicating that AI has become prevalent and has grown in importance, particularly for AI CX leaders across all industries. And as you can see here in a recent study, 85% of CX professionals believe that AI is important now. And more importantly, that number ticks up by about 4 percentage points, 89% believing that it will be important 4 years from now. So this is a growing trend in importance that is not going away. And it makes sense because if you look at the five key measures of success within a contact center performance on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see that from CSAT scores, first call resolution, average hold time, even average time in queue, all of these metrics are tied directly to the perceived sense of satisfaction from a customer standpoint, as well as productivity from an agent standpoint. And these are the areas where the risks of performance can be mitigated with the use of AI. Omni-channel, as far as AICX, is also viewed as a strategic imperative. So it's not just using AI on one or two or several touch points, but across the board. And indeed, in this recent survey, nearly 83% of respondents agreed that CX is not only critical for omni-channel communications, but it definitely helps when it comes to retaining customer loyalty. Take a look at the graph on the right, and today, and compared to 3 years from now, you can see that customer acquisition, although AI is playing a key role in that regard, really CX leaders are viewing customer retention and loyalty as being the real game changer in how AI can impact customer and contact center operations. AI is also viewed as a key driver for operational efficiency across many use cases. And I'm going to do it for three industry cases moving forward. If you look at the banking industry, financial services, in place today as far as AI technology is concerned, not in place today, or plans to invest in AI for particular channels. You can look at the slide on the right. And there are definitely upticks in terms of the type of increases in investment for AI technology. And most notably, you can see that again, this is touching on all touch points in the customer journey. It's not just self-service. It's not just in terms of customer identification. It also deals with agent customer interactions and post-call workflows. Most notably, the investments for the next 3 years, you can see that middle bar, the purple bar, is where many professionals are looking to improve not only metrics, but customer satisfaction. This is equally the case when it comes to retailers. So retailers do understand that customers are pretty savvy, and customers do believe that the businesses that they interact with on a daily or monthly or annual basis could step up their game if they were trying to personalize their experiences using the latest technologies and the latest tools, AI being one of them. So 57% of retail customers agree that retailers are committed to delivering the best possible customer service experience, and that in doing so, they can do it in a digital way. However, 58% of customers cite that their experiences aren't necessarily personalized, and many of them don't feel that they're getting the information that they need on a proactive basis. That experience also translates to the healthcare industry. Many leading providers are reimagining the patient experience with digital transformation in order to satisfy those very challenges customers were talking about on the retail front, trying to make those interactions more personalized, more seamless, and to deliver information on a more proactive basis. So again, we see that omni-channel capabilities, in this case with healthcare providers, are often lacking from patient experience. Often healthcare providers have multiple contact centers, so being able to do this across multiple touch points is equally challenging. And again, AI is viewed as an area where contact centers can contribute to the patient experience if only that technology were brought to the fore more prominently. Many of these challenges deal with the fact that legacy platforms are what are in place today, and often these platforms struggle with implementing AI solutions, not only for patient experiences, but for retail, for finance, and pretty much any industry you come across. Legacy systems really struggle under the burden of trying to up their game and elevate to an AI delivered omni-channel experience. And in fact, when it comes to healthcare platforms, 76% of those using on-premise or hybrid solutions are reporting to explore and plan on transitioning to a fully cloud-based system over the next 1 to 2 years, meaning they would then be able to implement AI solutions more readily and make that transition in a more seamless fashion. Something that's very challenging if you're not in a cloud only or if you're strictly in a legacy on-premises environment. Lastly, when you look at the drivers and you look at the numbers and you think about why should businesses, regardless of industry, be thinking about AI, let's take a look at the demographics. And although non-AI based solutions, so we're talking about voice-based interactions, or even talking about fax-based interactions, but non-digital interactions were definitely core to many contact center environments just 5 or 10 years ago. And often this was to cater to an older generation, which is still very prevalent and still interacting with contact centers in a big way. But if you look at this pie chart, you can see that we have digital natives coming to the fore. They're one of the largest growing cohorts in our workforce today. You've got Gen Y, you've got Gen Z, and what we call digital natives, many of whom don't view a voice interaction as their primary go-to when dealing with a brand. Many prefer digital interactions. And so from a demographic perspective, this is key when it comes to retaining or acquiring customers for any business across any industry. So let's take a look at generative AI and what this brought to the fore in terms of upping the game across omni-channel communications with a contact center and with customer agent interactions. And at Talkdesk, we look at it in a holistic fashion, moving from left to right. We really view it as a customer journey where you move from that demographic, the cohort being baby boomer, Gen Xer, Gen Y, digital native, you name it. But how can you use AI to make it a more seamless journey and a much more hyper-personalized interaction and overall improve the core KPI metrics that make for a good contact center experience? So customer here on the left. First phase of interaction most likely is with identification, authentication, verifying that you are who you are, the customer is who they are, for security and compliance concerns. And then the meat of the journey deals with either two buckets of interaction. either self-service automation, and this is where AI can definitely help with frequently asked questions, deliver very perfunctory answers to very simple queries without the intervention of a live agent, which is a more costly per hour expense from a business perspective. But if necessary, if resolutions can't be had from a digital perspective, whether via chat or via a virtual agent, then moving over to agent-assisted automation, AI can definitely help agents deliver more accurate answers faster and in a more seamless fashion than not. Often by helping agents interact with other knowledge management databases in real time by detecting the topic of concern and proactively serving up information that can help the agent answer a customer's query. Finally, on the back end, you have supervisors who would love to use AI in order to assess and you know assess and verify that interactions are happening the way they're designed and the way they'd prefer them to happen. So quality management, making sure that sentiment analysis and interaction analytics and making sure that handoffs are handled correctly. All those other agent performance measures are happening on the back end, and AI for sure can help with assessment and evaluation from that standpoint. At Talkdesk, we try and cover the breadth. In fact, we do cover the breadth of this interaction from beginning to end. And here, the first three pillars on the left-hand side touch on that interplay between self-service and agent assist interactions with a customer. The preponderance of interactions when it comes to connecting with CRM applications, managing multiple databases to make sure that the accurate information is pulled up and delivered quickly and accurately, ensuring that on the back end, management has a good view from a supervisory standpoint on interaction analytics, quality management, and then, of course, making sure that all interactions are safe, responsible, and that the AI is behaving correctly. No hallucinations, no fraud, no biases. Talkdesk delivers AI components across the entire customer journey for a thorough, seamless, and proactive AI platform and solution delivery. Just to double click on some of those features, we won't go in depth into all of them, but a few of them that are germane, particularly when it comes to an omni-channel experience. Talkdesk Navigator. Many of these products we announced throughout the 2024 season. Talkdesk Navigator, critical when it comes to using AI, generative AI, to detect a topic of conversation that's important to a customer and making sure the customer is routed to the right virtual or even live agent using LLM modeling in order to hyper-personalize the experience. And the beauty with our Talkdesk Navigator solution is that AI is very powerful. That LLM, generative AI tool, can detect natural language. So there's no need to utter exact instances of what a customer is looking for. Customer could be looking for their account balance at a bank, and they can use everyday vernacular without worrying about the system saying, please repeat yourself. I don't understand what you're asking for. No training required. The LLM models are advanced enough to detect the topic of interest and route the customer to the right answering channel as needed. Effortless orchestration, something that can be easily empowered by and enabled by administrators. Talkdesk Navigator is a very popular AI-powered solution for that beginning section of the customer journey. Autopilot takes it to the next level. And actually ensures that the efficient self-service customer support is available to a business 24/7, 365. So not only is the customer routed to the right destination, but again, you have the LLM modeling that ensures accurate information is pulled up to either assist the agent or to deliver to the virtual agent, and ensuring that the customer gets the information they need right away without any complication or customer frustration, and dialing up the metrics and improvements for first call resolution. Copilot is where you start dealing with those live interactions. So, how do we make sure that agents are not only delivering the right information, but they can still pay attention in real time to a customer's needs versus having to open up multiple windows looking for information? We've all been in that environment where the agent is trying their best to deliver the right information, but they need to hunt and do it. They open up another window, hunt for the account information, try and verify an address, try and pull up the account information. Often, through no fault of their own, they're extending the length of that conversation and having difficulty delivering contextual answers that are accurate in the right way. Copilot resolves that again using AI so that agents can resolve issues quickly and correctly, often transcribing the information in real time, detecting what's needed, pulling and searching and retrieving accurate scripts and next best steps and knowledge articles so the agent can actually respond in real time and keep that virtual smile on their face even as they're dealing with a real-time conversation with said customer. Talkdesk has taken it a next level, and we've done a number of things to enhance the agent experience. One of them, just to highlight here in this presentation, is AI Translator. So agents now don't need to fear having to deal with multiple native language speakers that are outside their native language of preference. So quite simply, you could have an English speaking agent who's dealing with multiple customers that speak Spanish, French, Portuguese, German. Obviously, across the pond, you can see that happening across much of Europe, but even here stateside, that can happen with many customers. Simply because we live in a smaller world. The world is smaller, and uh, wouldn't it be nice for businesses to be able to satisfy their customer queries in the preferred language for an inbound customer call? AI Translator delivers that capability in real time with no serious input on the part of the agent. Customer can call in, speak their preferred language. In this case, we're looking at a French communication, digitally transcribed for the agent in real time. Agent gets to see the interaction or the query in their preferred language. The system detects it automatically, converts it, much like any popular consumer-based translation application you may be familiar with. And then the agent gets to reply in their preferred language, but the system again reverts that for the customer in their native language, thereby hyper-personalizing that interaction, delivering a much more efficient and seamless interaction, and boosting those CSAT scores and the ability to resolve a query in record time. Interaction analytics on the back end, helping supervisors identify areas where perhaps a new agent isn't following business protocol. Perhaps there's friction points that need to be highlighted, areas for improvement, turning those B agents into A plus agents, and helping with coaching and agent performance. Also part of the Talkdesk AI suite that is generative AI powered. However, as I mentioned at the top of the presentation, that's AI version 1.0. AI version 2.0 is what's now being referred to as Agentic AI, and Talkdesk has a platform that is capable, is a Agentic AI capable, bringing that next level of power to the AI platform that many businesses and consumers are looking for. So, what is Agentic AI? To us, we view it as that autonomy missing piece, that ability for an AI-powered application to think independently, to proactively make decisions in real time with the minimum amount of human intervention. So, what if you have an AI application? In this instance, let's think about that self-service part of the customer journey that's capable of analyzing real-time data and able to make proactive decisions to enhance a customer's experience. What if AI was capable of having contextual adaptability? So the ability to adapt actions based on changing behaviors on the part of the consumer, so that it can satisfy very individualized preferences and ensure a more relevant and personalized interaction all along the customer journey. What if AI could enhance operational efficiency? So on the back end, what if AI could help reduce the time it takes to implement automation workflows, designing what that customer journey could look like, and making complex processes not only much more seamless and simplified in order to in order to design them, but also to deploy them with a minimum of human intervention. So this is where agentic AI is coming to the fore to take AI-powered solutions to the next level. If generative AI provided the ability to deliver real-time intelligent responses that were crafted for personalized interaction and helped reduce friction and helped streamline workflows, Agentic AI takes it to that next level by operating autonomously with the least amount of human intervention, allowing an application to make decisions based off of learned behaviors and adapting to customer inputs and continuously refining the customer journey for better outcomes. And we'll take a look at what that looks like in just a moment. But for a graphic depiction, you can see that generative AI is here on the left-hand side is where you use the power of NLP and LLM modeling so that the system can detect what a customer is asking for and allow the customer to speak in their preferred language or vernacular, without having to fumble with a more complex, confusing, say, IVR menu or detection system and get the answers that they need. And often that generative AI solution will deliver what's on the right-hand side, an output, the right answer, accurately and quickly. Generative agentic AI is what happens in the middle here. So improving, doing the interpretation, having the ability to conduct basic and advanced reasoning, and improving workflow generation and execution. This is where agentic AI is coming to the fore to help streamline contact center operations and deliver a better, more personalized experience to customers. So, what if, we asked, what if when it came to real-time agent guidance, where generative AI can create tailored responses and suggestions in the moment that adapt to, say, a customer's sentiment or a customer emotion? Agentic AI brings that level of autonomy to track a customer's sentiment or emotion or mood throughout the entire conversation, from a virtual interaction to an agent interaction, from the beginning of that interaction all the way through to the end, having the ability to prompt agents to change the way they interact in real time based on that autonomous, proactive detection of customer moods and feelings. What if, when it came to automated knowledge retrieval, generative AI can summarize and retrieve the most relevant information in real time, helping an agent solve a customer query. But agentic AI can take it to the next level by detecting context from the interaction and proactively providing additional information, or updating resources within the account for future interaction or for follow-up. For real-time performance monitoring, so for the supervisor, if generative AI can create summaries post-call that summarize what that interaction was like with an agent, providing insights on common patterns and perhaps even where there was a need for an escalation. What if agentic AI can go ahead and take that up a level by not only monitoring the agent's performance, but proactively flagging instances that would need intervention autonomously and driving those flags to a supervisor rather than having the supervisor needing to review, evaluate, detect, and then finally determine that there is some coaching, or there is some intervention, or there is some more training that's required on the part of the agent. From a quality insurance assurance perspective, generative AI is great at analyzing conversations, making sure that compliance codes are met, accuracy, tone. Agentic AI again can take it to the next level by flagging issues that could, and proactively notifying supervisors, again, for pre-coaching prompts, as well as addressing other issues that may have arisen during the interaction. And then finally, predicting staffing recommendations, you guessed it. Looking at historical patterns is core to what generative AI can bring to the table. But what if agentic AI could monitor ongoing demands and suggest ongoing adjustments to staffing needs, scaling up the agent deployment based on previous historical models on demand, based on time of year, time of month, when sales promotions were being driven, marketing campaigns were launched, and so forth. Again, agentic AI can bring more power, more proactive capabilities, and that level of independent autonomy that alerts humans to needs rather than having humans do the heavy lifting on their own. At Talkdesk, we believe that AI platforms, when you combine the two, can deliver the best in both worlds, and in particular, that comes across in spades when it comes to designing and delivering automation workflows. In this case, highlighting the design of virtual agents. Agentic AI platforms can simplify what used to be very complex decision trees. If customer utters X utterance looking for bank account information, how many iterations do you need in that decision tree to make sure that you've captured every possible topic detection that the system can then figure out what the ask is, what information needs to be retrieved, how to pull it up, and then how to deliver it to the customer. Instead of having a decision tree with multiple branches and multiple pathways, wouldn't it be easier to design a virtual agent using the same technology a customer uses to engage with a virtual agent? In this case, agentic AI platforms can do exactly that. In this instance, when designing a virtual agent, on the back end, management supervisors can use simple language instructions to build an automation workflow that is not only autonomously detected and built, but then executed in a very seamless manner. Agentic AI takes the defined virtual agent behavior, acts on it autonomously, so that making decision based on real-time customer data and completing that task doesn't have to be done with complex prompts that are entered by a data scientist. Instead, practically anybody can go ahead and program an automation workflow using natural language and deploying it in a very seamless manner. The before and after, when it comes to the back end design of complex automation workflows, no nothing short of revolutionary. From a decision and design perspective, whereas before agentic AI platforms were brought to the fore, you had to have very precise configuration on the back end, often using scientists to build, predict, and model what those decision trees would be like. Often decision-making flows were limited, and for sure, it was an intensive process to design these automation workflows. With agentic AI platforms, advanced LLM using plain English language can be used to design those workflows. Configuration is simple, and persona-based behaviors are also easy to design and deploy. When it comes to the level of complexity before agentic AI platforms, it's a much higher level of complexity. There is a burden on the operational front, and from a business standpoint, you have reduced time to value. After agentic AI platforms are introduced, you have a much simplified design process that reduces operational overhead and improves time to value and deployment. And then finally, when it comes to those all-important customer service metrics, whereas prior to agentic AI platforms, you had the tendency for probable inaccuracies. If you didn't design that script, if you didn't design that decision tree and workflow super accurately, you may end up incurring hallucinations, biases, or the customer just can't figure out exactly what to say in order to get the system to respond in the desired way. Often that results in an escalation to an agent, and as a result, negative impact on key metrics like first call resolution, average handling time, and CSAT scores. With an agentic AI powered platform, it's the exact reverse. You have that intelligent self-decision making, autonomous workflow that can think on its feet and thereby deliver a higher accuracy result with lower human involvement and a better outcome when it comes to those key performance metrics. And oh, by the way, let me double click on the fact that this can happen across multiple language, boosting the ability for a business to service many different clientele while still maintaining a very hyper-personalized interaction experience, and maybe even optimizing business cost centers by deploying agents in a more cost optimized location while still serving customers in what would previously be high labor cost intensive areas. So when we look at the Talkdesk Agentic AI solution in action, as we are getting close to wrapping this up, let's go back to the industries that we were referring to. And here you can see how generative AI is used to satisfy your typical virtual agent self-service queries, checking a balance, stopping a payment. You just got a new credit card, you need to activate it. You want to take a look at your most recent transactions or figure out when a payment is due. Often, a lot of this is satisfied from a generative AI perspective and satisfied quite well for self-service and virtual agent interactions. But when it comes to more complex interactions, in this case, an autopilot interaction where you have that 24 self-service interaction for, say, paying off a quote, or proactively recommending that a customer deactivate a card because a new one was sent out. There are ways in which that agentic AI power and solution can take that interaction up a level. In this instance, I'm showing a very simple depiction. Here, a client is conducting a self-service interaction, looking for some basic account information, and they interact with Autopilot, a virtual agent that can accurately and quickly deliver that information. However, in an agentic AI environment, wouldn't it be great if that autopilot automation workflow was smart enough to act independently and proactively, and actually detected that said client had been visiting the website and had queries in previous interactions about loans, mortgage loans, or interest rates, or other services that they were looking to engage the bank with. And in this instance, instead of just being escalated to an agent and asking for a payoff quotation, what if an agentic AI solution would proactively suggest to the agent, recommending and alerting the client that there's a special promotion, there's a reduced interest rate on a home loan or an auto loan. And knowing that the client had that type of query in the past, encouraging the client to engage and perhaps fill out a loan application, or sending that client a link to an online form to initiate a loan interaction with a loan agent. This is an example of autonomous proactive behaviors that an agentic AI solution could bring to the table, not only satisfying in a hyper-personalized way the needs of the client in the moment, but also helping generate future business for the bank and endearing the client because they're getting that proactive information that they might not have thought of otherwise. And really helping some of those key points we talked about at the beginning of this presentation, delivering proactive information that makes the customer feel that the brand really does care. The brand really is looking out for their best interests, and the bank really is trying to deliver information that could be useful to the customer. At Talkdesk, it's important for you to know that this is how we think about the customer journey when it comes to AI. And we think about it not only in terms of the journey from a generic standpoint, we have solutions designed for those specific industries we were talking about at the beginning of the presentation. So Talkdesk Financial Services Experience Cloud does exactly what we've been talking about, both from a generative AI as well as an agentic AI perspective for financial services. We have an equally powerful solution and platform from a retail experiences perspective. And wouldn't you know it, we have a healthcare experience cloud solution with pre-built workflows, with designs that are catered for the healthcare environment, end to end, also available. And I thought it'd be useful for this audience to be aware of that. So I believe in closing, wherever you are in your journey, as you're contemplating your move to AI, if you're in an on-premise or legacy environment, if you have a modicum of AI in your environment but are looking to up that game, we encourage you to continue to investigate and to do your research so that you can unleash the power of generative and agentic AI solutions within your organization, really design a very seamless and hyper-personalized omni-channel integrated workflow for your customers, and think seriously about investing in your AI literacy within your organization. With that, I'd like to thank you for watching this presentation. I do hope you found it educational and informative. If you do need more information, I encourage you to visit talkdesk.com and click click for additional information and for sure request a demo. We'd be happy to deliver that for you. Thanks again for watching this presentation, and we'll see you next time.